Even though it is one of the wealthiest countries in the world, Germany is facing increasing poverty, with millions of its citizens living below the poverty line. Let's explore the lesser-known side of this country. Germany's strategic location at the heart of Europe. Germany, located at the center of the European continent, borders 9 countries, including Denmark, Poland, the Czech Republic, Austria, Switzerland, France, Luxembourg, Belgium, and the Netherlands. This not only defines the country's strategic position, but also makes Germany a major trade hub with a highly developed transport system that connects major cities both within and outside Europe. Northern Germany stands out with its vast plains, ideal for agricultural production, and bustling seaports like Hamburg, the main gateway to the North Sea. In the south, the majestic Bavarian Alps not only offer stunning natural landscapes, but also attract tourists with landmarks like Garmisch-Partenkirchen and Lake Neuschwanstein, renowned for their spectacular beauty and legendary stories. Between the plains and the mountain range lies the Black Forest, where winding valleys are steeped in folklore. Major rivers like the Rhine and Danube are not only vital trade routes, but also serve as cultural bridges between nations and peoples. Germany's climate brings magical beauty with each season. From snowy winters perfect for skiing, spring filled with blooming flowers, lively summer festivals like Oktoberfest, to the brilliant autumn with its characteristic golden and red hues. Germany's image and global influence. Germany is always known as a country symbolizing precision, quality, and innovation, especially in the automotive industry. Car brands like BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, and Porsche not only represent luxury but also stand as testimonies to technological advancements and superior design. Additionally, Germany leads in technology with giants like Siemens and Bosch, companies that have contributed significantly to the development of advanced industries like renewable energy and robotics. Germany's educational system, especially in the fields of engineering and science, is widely recognized, with top universities such as the Technical University of Munich and Heidelberg University consistently ranking among the best in the world. In healthcare, Germany's healthcare system stands out for its efficiency and fairness, ensuring a high standard of living for most citizens. The country's social market economy provides a comprehensive welfare system, ensuring stability and prosperity. Culturally, Germany is not only known for its philosophical, musical, and artistic history, but also as the birthplace of legendary figures like Immanuel Kant, Ludwig van Beethoven, and Johann Sebastian Bach, whose contributions have left a lasting mark on global culture. Today, Germany continues to be a center for contemporary creativity, highlighted by world-famous beer festivals like Oktoberfest, demonstrating the perfect blend of tradition and modernity in cultural life. However, despite its achievements, Germany also faces challenges. Increasing income inequality, the integration of immigrants, the housing shortage, and balancing industrial development with environmental protection are issues the country must address in the future. These factors threaten Germany's sustainable development and demand more flexible policies to ensure fairness and sustainability in society. History and transformation of Germany. The history of Germany, especially in the 20th century, was shaped by profound changes, from the rise of the Nazi regime to 2 world wars and a deep division during the Cold War. After World War I, Germany was divided into 2 countries: West Germany, under the influence of Western powers, and East Germany, controlled by the Soviet Union. This was a turning point that led to profound changes in the country's politics, economy, and society. West Germany went through a glorious period known as the economic miracle, Wirtschaftswunder, thanks to economic aid from the U.S. through the Marshall Plan and internal reforms. As a result, West Germany's economy thrived and became one of the leading economic powers in Europe. Meanwhile, East Germany, under the leadership of the socialist regime, faced political repression and slow economic development, despite strong support from the Soviet Union. The Berlin Wall, one of the most iconic symbols of the divide between East and West, was not just an architectural structure, but also a symbol of the confrontation between two ideologies: Western capitalism and Eastern communism. When the Berlin Wall fell in 1989, it was not only a significant political event, but also marked the beginning of a new era for the country, with hopes for reunification and integration. However, this reunification was not smooth. As significant economic and cultural challenges still existed, the disparity in living standards, differences in political systems, and even cultural conflicts between the people of East and West Germany were major issues to address. Germany's journey after the fall of the Berlin Wall is a vivid example of the difficulties in integrating two cultures and political systems, as well as the challenges a country faces when undergoing profound change in the context of globalization. The recovery and development of Germany from a divided nation to a unified, modern, and strong country is a testament to the strength of overcoming crises and moving toward a shared future. Hidden poverty in Germany. Although Germany is one of the wealthiest and most prosperous economies in the world, poverty remains a significant issue, though it is not always easily visible. The reality is that poverty in Germany is not absolute poverty, but mainly relative poverty. This means that in a society with a high standard of living and a developed economy, poverty is not only measured by financial deprivation, but also by a state of income much lower than the country's average. In Germany, an individual earning less than 1,500 euros per month, or a family of four with an income below 2,400 euros, is considered to be living below the poverty line. While this income may be seen as reasonable in some other countries, in the context of Germany's economy, with high living costs, this amount is insufficient to meet basic needs such as housing, quality food, or other essential services. Especially with rising costs for housing, energy, and public services, those living in this situation face great difficulties in maintaining a stable life. In fact, about 1 in 6 Germans currently lives in relative poverty. This is an alarming figure, reflecting a portion of society struggling with basic issues such as finding safe and affordable housing, ensuring enough nutritious food, or even being able to afford heating during the cold winter months. This shows that despite the country's prominence in prosperity and development, the issue of income redistribution and wealth inequality remains a serious challenge that Germany must confront. Poverty in Germany is not only an economic issue, but also reflects deeper social factors, including the growing division between population groups, especially between developed urban areas and rural regions, where living conditions and job opportunities differ significantly. This indicates that while Germany has achieved much in economic development and social welfare, there are still gaps that need to be addressed to ensure that all citizens can share in the benefits of this prosperity. Housing nightmare in Germany. Poverty in Germany is not only reflected in shabby slums or makeshift homes, but often appears in forgotten areas where rent is low and old buildings with high densities of low-income residents are located. These areas are often referred to as Problemville or problem sale, and are often seen negatively by society as social hotspots, with high crime rates, particularly related to drug trafficking and lack of employment opportunities. Although not traditional slums, these neighborhoods still reflect a form of deep poverty with undeniable social issues. While the buildings in these areas may still be structurally sound and offer basic amenities, poverty in these neighborhoods remains very evident. This is the result of a combination of long-term unemployment, low wages, and social isolation. The historical division between East and West Germany also contributes significantly to housing inequality, with areas that were once part of East Germany, such as the Ruhr region or Bremerhaven, still facing high unemployment rates and prolonged economic stagnation, even after the country was reunified. Although the physical structure of buildings here may be quite stable, these neighborhoods resemble social ghettos, where residents must live in isolation and often face stigma. With few opportunities for advancement and a lack of social services, life here is marked by a sense of hopelessness. Additionally, homelessness is becoming increasingly severe, with a significant portion of the population forced to live on the streets or in temporary shelters. This not only reflects difficulties in providing housing, but also signals the need for a social system reform to protect the rights of vulnerable groups. The housing nightmare in Germany is not just a material issue, but also a deep social crisis, where impoverished and marginalized groups face injustice in accessing basic opportunities to improve their lives. Homelessness, an invisible problem. Homelessness is an increasingly serious phenomenon in Germany, with approximately 650,000 people currently without stable housing. Although this issue is often overlooked by tourists in major cities like Berlin, which is famous for its modern and developed appearance, homelessness is on the rise. People can easily encounter images of homeless individuals sleeping on park benches, in train stations, or even rummaging through trash bins for discarded items, making the issue more visible in public spaces. Berlin, although a vibrant city and a symbol of modern development, has been branded as Germany's homeless capital. Despite the existence of some shelters and temporary support programs for the homeless, many do not seek help. This often stems from a lack of trust in the support system, past negative experiences, or personal issues like mental health problems or addiction, which prevent them from accessing or wanting to access the available support. The root causes of homelessness are complex and diverse, including factors such as rising rental prices, high unemployment rates, a lack of mental health care services, and inadequate support for people with addiction problems. Rental prices in Germany's major cities, particularly Berlin, have surged in recent years, leaving many people unable to maintain stable housing. In addition, the shortage of healthcare services and support for individuals with mental health issues or addiction is a significant factor that pushes them into homelessness without appropriate assistance. Homelessness in Germany is not only a social issue that needs to be addressed, but also a wake-up call about the deficiencies in the welfare and social protection system, particularly for the most vulnerable members of society. Who suffers the most from discrimination and poverty in Germany? Germany, although a developed country with a strong economy, is also facing a harsh reality of racism and social division. In a society where prejudice and racism remain strongly entrenched, foreign-born people often suffer from poverty at rates twice as high as native Germans. People with Turkish or Arab names, when applying for jobs, often face injustice, with fewer opportunities for interviews compared to those with purely German names. Statistical data shows that only about 5% of Germans without immigrant backgrounds live below the poverty line, while this rate is nearly doubled for minority groups such as Black people, Muslims, and Asians, who face distinct discrimination in economic opportunities. This creates a persistent cycle of poverty where foreign-born individuals face barriers such as language, stigmatization, and exclusion from the labor market, making it difficult for them to escape poverty. However, a common misconception is that only immigrants suffer from these difficulties. In fact, about 14 million Germans, nearly 1 in 6 people, live in poverty. This not only affects immigrant communities, but also native German citizens, especially in the context of rising living costs, an unstable labor market, and reduced purchasing power, which deeply impacts the quality of life for those who were born and raised in Germany. Cities that were once known for their prosperity and stability are now facing serious challenges, with some segments of the population, even those who are not immigrants, struggling with poverty. These upheavals highlight that discrimination is not only present in minority ethnic groups, but is also a widespread issue affecting anyone pushed to the margins of the economy. Public policy, a limited social safety net. Germany's welfare system, once regarded as one of the most robust in the world, actually has clear limitations when faced with the increasing needs of modern society. One of the main programs within this welfare system is Bürgergeld, designed to replace the controversial Hartz IV system. Although it is a program that provides basic financial support, the benefits are insufficient to ensure a decent standard of living for those struggling. Specifically, a single individual may receive about 500 euros per month, while a family of 4 can receive a maximum of up to 1,000 euros per month. However, these allowances are far lower than the actual costs needed to maintain a stable life in today's economy. For example, a single person needs at least 1,100 euros per month to meet basic needs like housing, food, and other essential costs. For a family, especially one with young children, the cost of housing, food, and energy can easily exceed the level of support provided by the welfare system. This creates a significant shortfall in meeting the basic needs of people, making it difficult for them to maintain a decent life, particularly as prices continue to rise. In recent years, especially with rising energy prices, skyrocketing rent, and prolonged inflation, many people receiving benefits feel that government assistance is not enough to maintain financial stability. The widening gap between the benefits and the cost of living has led many families, especially those in large cities, to face difficulties, unable to escape poverty even with welfare support. This shows that, despite reforms to Germany's welfare system, it still cannot fully meet the life challenges citizens are facing, especially in the context of the current volatile economy. An uncertain future in the fight against poverty. In Germany, economic pressure is growing significantly, largely due to the effects of global inflation, the ongoing energy crisis, and the war in Ukraine. These factors have exacerbated the country's already fragile economic situation, with the middle class shrinking and an increasing portion of Germany's population falling into poverty. The lives of people, particularly those with low incomes, are becoming increasingly difficult as living costs rise, while income levels are insufficient to keep up with these changes. Germany's social welfare system, once regarded as one of the strongest social safety nets in the world, was a source of pride for the country. It is a protective network that helps German citizens through tough times. However, in the current context, challenges from the economic crisis, soaring energy prices, and persistent inflation are gradually revealing cracks in the system. Questions about the ability to maintain strong enough support without damaging the country's overall economy are becoming increasingly urgent. While the welfare system may provide temporary assistance for those in need, it is currently facing numerous challenges. A welfare system strong enough to support citizens without causing negative effects on the economy requires deep reforms and new policies suited to the current economic situation. This raises a significant question about the future of the fight against poverty in Germany, as current global and political factors are increasingly widening the gap between social groups. We conclude today's journey in Germany, a country that hides realities far from the light of prosperity. What surprised you the most about the hidden poverty in Germany? Was it the harsh reality of impoverished areas, the increasing number of homeless people, or the impact of racism and social inequality? Please leave your thoughts in the comments. We would love to hear your views on this lesser-known side of Germany.